Shalom. All praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Double honors to my elder apostles and bishop elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy, to the elect of the nation of Israel, when we use so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the seed line of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. And to you I say Shalom, beginning with the 144,000 prophets, and Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai willing, this lesson is edifying and informative. My name is Quanawath, and in the news from the RT, Bank of America issues $130 oil warning. A direct war between Israel and Iran could, and according to biblical prophecy, this will happen, substantially drive prices up, the bank has said in a note cited by CNBC. Now, before I read this article, let us first read the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 20, followed by 50, verse 45. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And so listen carefully and hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom. And so this is a counsel that the Lord has taken against the Edomites, who, according to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4, is the wicked, beginning with their hegemony, their leadership, including their Rothschilds, their Rockefellers, their Oppenheimers, their DuPonts, their McDonald's, their Lees, their Gettys, so on and so forth, in whose hand, which in the Hebrew is Yad, which means power or strength, the earth has been given into, pursuant to the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. And so this is a counsel that the Lord has taken, that he has against the Edomites, the so-called Caucasian race, whom is the wicked. So listen carefully, you so-called Caucasians that may come across this lesson, that is for the edification of the elect of the nation of Israel. And his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. The Temanites are Edomites, and the wise men of Teman are the German Edomites. Surely the least of the flock, which the least of the flock is the state of Israel, shall draw them, which the them is referring to America, Babylon the Great. And so the least of the flock will draw them, will draw America, Babylon the Great, out where? Out into the Arabian Peninsula, into what the world calls the so-called Middle East, which is actually Eastern Asia. All right. Into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment, because that is where the Lord Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai, will gather the heathen nations round about to issue out judgment unto them. Surely He shall make their habitations. And so the Lord will make the habitations of the Edomites that dwell here in America, Babylon the Great, and in our land, the land of Israel, desolate by way of thermonuclear fire with them, according to biblical prophecy. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, that he had taken against Babylon. And so we see that in chapter 50, verse 45, that the Lord is using Babylon instead of Edom. This shows us that Babylon is synonymous with Edom, because Esau Edom is the one who rules modern day Babylon, which is America. And his purpose is that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, which is America, Babylon the Great. The ancient Chaldeans were known for being witches and warlocks and wizards, necromancers. And this is what Esau Edom indulges himself in, even from his youth, according to the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter. These devils indulge in all manners of sorceries, witchcrafts. And as it is written, according to the Lord's law, the Lord will not suffer a witch to live, because the penalty of a witch is death through burning by fire. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, because the third woe cometh quickly, according to Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, which reads, the second woe is past, so World War II has already passed. And behold, which means to look. And we have been looking, and we have been seeing and hearing of wars and rumors of wars. We have been seeing proxy wars across the earth that will ultimately and inevitably lead to the third world woe, which it takes a process in leading up to. So we have been seeing. The Lord is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. The third woe cometh quickly. And so World War III cometh quickly. We are living in the season of war, according to the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the 8th verse, and not a season of love. Yet, you have visualized that on a very joyous, mirthful spirit. But this particular war, that is the third world's woe, will, according to Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, be fought with burning and fuel of fire. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, for every battle of the warrior is a confused noise and garments rolled in blood. And this is how ancient wars were fought. Men and nations will go to war one against another on the battlefield with swords and spears, lances, shields, armories, and they would impale each other through, truss each other through, cut each other's hands off, heads off, limbs off, feet off. There would be much screaming and blood all over, and garments rolled in blood. But this, that is the third world's woe, which cometh quickly, shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this particular war that will be fought in the near future in the valley of Jehoshaphat will be fought with burning and fuel of fire by way of those thermonuclear missiles. And according to Revelation, the 9th chapter, the 16th verse, the number of those thermonuclear missiles, which are likened unto horses and horsemen, a great army, according to the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, will be 200,000. That is 2 600 million that the Lord will send forth here into America, Babylon the Great, to destroy it, according to biblical prophecy. All right? Refer to Isaiah the 13th chapter, Isaiah the 14th chapter, Revelation the 18th chapter, Revelation the 8th chapter, the whole Bible. Okay? These things are prophetic. This is why we've been seeing nations beating their plowshares into swords and their printer hooks into spears. They've been taking their economic wealth and using them towards the research, development, enhancements and modifications of weapons of mass destruction, in particular for ICBM nuclear missiles, which are the weapons of the Lord's indignation, which means his righteous anger, according to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 25. So now let's read the article and then conclude the lesson, Lord's willing. An all-out war between Iran and Israel, or Israel and Iran, could, which it will, according to biblical prophecy, drive oil prices up by $30 to $40 per barrel. This would result in consumers seeing an extreme spike in prices at the pumps throughout America and throughout different parts of the world, especially if they shut down the Strait of Hormuz. It says Bank of America experts have told clients in a research note seen by CNBC. Tehran and West Jerusalem have traded threats since Iran conducted its first direct military attack on the Jewish state last weekend, in retaliation for a suspected Israeli airstrike on the Iranian diplomatic mission in Syria earlier this month. If hostilities escalate into a protracted conflict that impacts energy infrastructure and disrupts Iranian crude supplies, the price of global benchmark Brent could rise substantially to $130 in the second quarter of this year. A Bank of America research note stated on Tuesday, according to CNBC. It added that U.S. crude oil could soar to $123. The scenario reportedly assumes that Iranian oil production falls by up to 1.5 million barrels per day, BPD. According to the International Energy Agency, IEA, Iran, a founding member, of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, produces about 3.2 million barrels of oil a day. Last year, it ranked as the world's second largest source of supply growth after the U.S. If a conflict led to disruptions outside Iran, such as the market losing 2 million BPD or more, prices could spike by 50 a barrel, according to the note. And we need oil for everything. Everything that we use, from cooking to cleaning, requires oil. Even the light. Brent could eventually settle around 100 in 2025, while U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate WTI would come down to $93, it predicted. The price of Brent crude spiked to over $91 per barrel earlier this month after Tehran threatened retaliation against Israel. However, as the bank's global economics team has pointed out, in the days following the retaliatory strike, crude oil prices fell due to the limited casualties and damage it caused. Analysts have warned that the market reaction may not reflect the medium-term economic and geopolitical implications of Iran's first ever direct military attack on Israel. If a war is limited to the two nations, Bank of America sees little impact on U.S. economic growth and the Federal Reserve's monetary policy. This shows how very untroubled unconcerned, very comfortable these people still are towards very heavy biblical events like this, that leads up to even more important things concerning biblical prophecy before the end, and that signifies the end. A general regional war, however, could have a substantial impact on the U.S., according to the institution. Brent futures were trading at 86.6 per barrel at 11:29 GMT on the Intercontinental Exchange ICE. WTI futures were trading at $82 per barrel in New York. And this concludes the article. In other brief headlines, Colombia wants to join BRICS. Biden warns Israel against attacking Iran. I guess they meant to say Biden warns Israel against attacking Iran. Erdogan accuses Israel of surpassing Hitler in committing crimes. So he's going to get a very big backlash, especially from his NATO allies, including the U.S. So it remains to be seen what they'll do. Nonetheless, refer to Ezekiel 38. Gog, which is Russia, will be a guard unto Turkey. Okay? According to biblical prophecy during the Third World War. And so with that, I pray this lesson was edifying, informative. This has been another In the News. Another news update to let the elect know what's going on around the world. And Abu Radza, it has been edifying and informative. I'll see you, Lord's willing, in the next one. Shalom.